My name is Jackie Schreiber. I am the Acting Director of Lifelong Learning at Congregation Emanu-El, the City of New York. And I just want to first start out by saying it's so nice to see you all. It feels like it's been forever, and it genuinely has been so long for so many of you. And I'm so happy to see some new faces here as well. I want to start by introducing our lifelong learning team who's with us this evening. There's Sam Fox-Harton, who's our incredible administrative assistant, and many of you have emailed with him and spoken to him before. We're so happy to have him with us for another great school year. We also have Saul Kaiserman, our scholar in residence and founding director of Lifelong Learning, who is with us this evening. And our newest team member, Karen Roman, is our assistant director of Lifelong Learning. And we're so excited to have us with us this year. And she is also going to look forward to getting to know all of you. Rachel Brumberg, our associate director of Lifelong Learning, who specifically works with our teen population, couldn't be with us this evening, but she looks forward to seeing everyone in a few short weeks. We're also joined this evening by Rabbi Davidson, and I'm going to turn it over to him to welcome all of you.
Thanks, Jackie, very much. I'm excited for two reasons. One is to welcome Jackie into her new position as our chief. Also to welcome Karen Roman to the team, who's someone I've known for a very, very long time through our years together at camp and the Reform movement. But what I'm most excited about, obviously, is the prospect of our being together in person, as I know many of our students will be. It's been too long, as Jackie said, and we've missed them and we've missed you. And we look forward to the opportunity to be able to sit together and study together and pray together. Not only am I a rabbi in the congregation, but I'm also a member of the religious school faculty. I teach the 9th and 10th grade confirmation class. And there's nothing I enjoy more than that experience. There's no better hour in the week than the one I have with those kids sitting around the table. And I can't wait to be able to do that in person again. It's true that the fall does hold some uncertainty, but we do want you to know that the temple is prepared to go forward, both in person and online. One thing we've learned over the course of the last 18 months is that we are able to conquer pretty much any challenge. And under Saul's leadership prior, to do it really, I think, with great skill. And so we're looking forward to what Jackie brings to us in her leadership. And I know that whatever the challenges are, the year ahead's going to be terrific. Jackie's going to talk us through a lot of those protocols over the course of this evening and answer questions you have about them. But I can't wait. I can't wait for the new year to begin, the new Jewish year, but the new school year too. So my thanks to all of you for being here, for sticking with us over the course of this challenging time, and most of all for giving us your beautiful kids who are our gifts to the future. So we take that responsibility very seriously. Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you, Rabbi Davidson. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. One moment. Okay, so our agenda for this evening is to look at the overall structure of the year, both focusing on our in-person and online program options. We'll discuss our health and safety protocols given where they are today, and we'll have plenty of time at the end for you to ask questions, and you can put your questions into the chat box at any point, and we will address them later on through the presentation. Of course, if you put any questions into your registration form, we've also incorporated those into this presentation. I'm going to give you a lot of information, but I promise I won't present for too long because your questions are the most important part. So to start, I will start by saying that we are all a partnership, and the decisions that we're making this year are because we've heard from you about what you'd like to see in our program. I participate in regular calls with our Temple's epidemiologist who guides us in all of our thinking around COVID safety. We're taking every step we need to do to ensure that our school is as safe as possible, recognizing that there are going to be some risks in running an in-person program no matter what. Like we did last year, we've broken up our year into trimesters. And this is to give you and us the opportunity to reevaluate what we're doing every few months as we head into another year of uncertainty. It's easiest to break down the trimesters by our in-person versus online programs. So I will go through each one of those, but this is so you will see just the dates. We start September 12th and the first trimester will run through December 19th. Our in-person program. We're so excited that so many of our students plan on returning to our building this fall, and our goal is to do that in the safest way possible that still allows us to have fun and do creative programming. I'll get more into detail about our safety protocols later, but the ones to highlight about this program are that everyone who enters our building will wear a mask for the entirety of the program. That includes staff and children of all ages, and students will be placed into cohorts to minimize the risks of exposure. Students will also maintain 3-foot social distancing in our spaces, as that is the current recommendation for schools. What will a typical day of school look like? All students in our program will have a history homeroom period that's done with other students their age and will be returning to our more traditional curriculum. We also know that music and singing brings joy to everyone. So we are prioritizing making music and tefillah, which is our prayer service, possible for all of the grades. To do this safely, we'll be utilizing our very large spaces that we're so lucky to have. Our sanctuary, as many of you know, fits over 2,000 people, and the Lowenstein Sanctuary, which we use for religious school, fits around 1,000 people. So we'll be able to space kids out appropriately so that everyone will have their own space when they're singing. We will combine some of our grades together for tefillah, but they'll be so distanced from one another in that space. And of course, everyone will remain masked for the whole time that they're singing. Hebrew. Hebrew gets a little more complicated, so I'm going to go through it grade by grade. For third graders, we'll be able to start our third graders with the usual learning of the alphabet, and they'll be able to do this as a class since they're all starting out at the same beginning point of their Hebrew journey. There's no need for any third grader to do additional Hebrew outside of the religious school day. For 4th to 6th graders, Hebrew is our biggest challenge to do in person, as we have traditionally mixed students based on their Hebrew level. Since we can't mix students outside of their pod, that makes it a little bit more challenging. For 4th and 5th graders, we're going to do something a little different this year. In school, we'll have a shortened period of Hebrew that engages learners of all levels through more of a conversational and movement-based Hebrew. All 4th and 5th graders will additionally be encouraged to sign up for small group or one-on-one Hebrew for 20 to 30 minutes outside of religious school hours to work on their decoding skills. We found that our online Hebrew worked very well last year for our students, as they were really able to move at their own pace and receive individualized instruction. So we're excited to be offering that again because we think that it's going to be really successful for everyone. For our 6th grade students, we're actually able to offer an intermediate and more advanced class option in person that will take place at the beginning and end of the religious school day on Sundays and at the end of the day on Monday. So the day may start and end at different times depending on where your child falls level-wise. If your child is in a different category, or if you only want to do the online Hebrew program, this schedule allows for 6th graders to be flexible and leaving early from the program. It sounds complicated, but we promise that you'll know when your child should be arriving or dismissing every week. And if your child is participating in the Hebrew period in person for 6th grade, you won't need to do online Hebrew as well, although it's an option for those who want it. Our Tribes program will be back in person on Sundays for our 3rd to 5th graders, and it will look a little different, but we're very excited that we will at least be able to make it happen. So since we can't miss cohorts, the Tribes program will take place in our classroom, in our class cohorts, with our A-teamers who are our teens coming into the classrooms to lead them. Unfortunately, right now, we don't have the capacity to run the Tribes program on Mondays or online as we did last year, but that could change later on in the year, and we're hopeful that it might. We're still finalizing the exact timing for when school will take place, the hours specifically, but it will be just around 2 hours for most of the students in person on both Sunday and Monday, somewhere between the 9:30 to 12 and 4 to 6 p.m. times. All Monday programming will begin at 4 p.m. as we know that students are coming from their schools, but the dismissal times may slightly vary, and this is to ease the flow of kids coming in and out so that we're a little bit staggered and don't have too many people all in the same space as once. Our schedule should be finalized in the next week, and we will send it to you as soon as it is officially done. Unlike in years past, we will not be able to have students day switch between our Sunday and Monday in-person programs as we're looking to preserve the nature of our pods as much as possible. We'll recommend that you come online if you need to attend on a different day of the week for any point this year instead. Our virtual program. So every week this year, we are going to have a separate online program for those choosing to be virtual for the entire year, or just those who are choosing it for the fall. This program is separate from the in-person program, so students will not be zooming in on the child's in-person class equivalent. Students who participate virtually will have content that is designed specifically for the online experience, and students will focus on building relationships with one another online. Based on the feedback that we've currently received from parents, our plan at the moment is that the online program will only take place for 3rd to 6th graders on Sunday and pre-K through 6th graders on Monday. 7th and 8th grade will also be virtual on both of those days. What will a typical day look like online? The plan is for there to be some communal time where all of the grades are together, learning about holidays, Hebrew words, and playing fun educational games like we did last year. But then we'll also have breakout rooms that are grade specific that will focus on our more traditional history and Bible content. Additionally, every online week, we will participate in tefillah and music, and we were looking to see if we can actually have that live and matched up with the program that the in-person kids are doing as well. We won't have specific Hebrew classes during the online program, so all students in grades 3 to 6 who are participating online will be encouraged to sign up for a small group or one-on-one Hebrew virtually outside of religious school hours. Many parents have asked if their child can attend virtually if they need to miss a week of the in-person program, which I previously said you can do. The answer is yes. However, the curriculum will be different for the two programs. So although both will be educational and engaging, it won't be the same content that you would have received if you were attending in person. So everyone should just be aware of that. You can always attend online if you let us know in advance. But as I said earlier, you won't be zooming in on your child's class, and the curriculum itself will not totally align. We recognize that it may be very difficult to plan for your child and your family right now, given everything that's going on. But we need you to make a commitment for the fall if you have not yet done so, because it has a significant impact on how we hire and structure our day. If you've registered for our program this year, you should have already received a form to make your program selection for the fall. And we'll be following up with those who we have not yet heard from, because we just need to know this information. And we greatly appreciate you understanding why we need it now. 7th and 8th grade. So our 7th and 8th grade program this year will be virtual on both Sunday and Monday. Most weeks it will take place between the hours of 10:30 to 11:30 and 4:30 to 5:30. September may be a little bit different for you. Working with Rabbi Khan, the program will provide students with language and tools from Jewish wisdom to reach their own goals of personal and ethical development. Some of you have wondered why this program is online when these are the children who are eligible to be vaccinated, and it's a good question. Before COVID, our 7th grade Mitzvah Corps program centered around volunteer opportunities. Last year, we designed this new program for 7th and 8th graders since we couldn't go out into the community to volunteer. And we found that it was not only successful content-wise, but our middle school students also liked that it was online as it was easier for their complicated schedules. That being said, we know that many of your children are looking to see one another in person. And so we will be creating times throughout the year for them to all come together to either volunteer in person or just to have community events together. The first session for 7th and 8th graders will be on Sunday, September 19th and Monday, September 20th. So note that that's 1 week later than the other programs that are starting. September and our days of awesome. Our first day of school for everyone not in 7th and 8th grade is on September 12th and 13th. And our programming for the first month of school will look a little bit different than it will look in October through December due to all of the Jewish holidays that take place during the month. For our in-person program, we'll be spending September getting everyone accustomed to all of our new protocols, coming into the building, leaving the building. It's going to take some time, but we'll be learning about and celebrating the Jewish holidays together. And we'll of course be spending lots of time reconnecting and getting to know one another. We will also have our special Days of Awesome program back online again for those who are doing the virtual option this year, like we had last year. And this is also for people to come and try out our program. So this is a great opportunity to share with your friends if you know people who may be interested in joining our school and want to try it out. So Kaiserman is going to be running our online Days of Awesome program, and it's going to be a blast. So please let your friends know that this is an option for them if they want to try out our program. The online program of Days of Awesome will be 1 hour programming that includes creative ways to celebrate our holidays, and we'll also have time in our regular cohorts as we're trying to get into the regular flow of the online program as well. On Monday, September 20th, we'll have a Sukkot family service, part of the religious school day, and the following Monday, September 27th, we'll have our family Simchat Torah service, where we'll recognize all new students in our school as part of our special consecration ceremony. Even if you're not joining us in person on those days, you're invited to join us on the live stream. But the plan right now is for all of our students who are in person on those Mondays to attend the services in person, and anyone else is also welcome to attend in person on those days. The specific timing for all of our programs in the fall, along with our calendar, will be available in the coming week, and we thank you for your patience as we finalize all of the little details. And now the fun part of today, the health and safety. So our goal is to have a safe and open school for the whole community. There's nothing that we want more than to have everyone who wants to be here in person here in our building, sitting side by side with their friends and their teachers in their Emanu-El home. We want to do everything that we can to avoid COVID and Delta coming into our building while we're doing that. We've worked very hard with our synagogue's epidemiologists who I've been meeting with on a regular basis, the PA, and the Temple's leadership to ensure that we are following guidelines from the CDC, Department of Health, and recommendations for schools as they're opening up this fall. As I mentioned earlier, everyone must be masked to enter our building, regardless of vaccination status, and there will be a mandatory health screening for all students as they enter the building. More details about how that will actually play out will come later. All of the staff at Temple Emanu-El is vaccinated, and that includes teachers and teens who are working in our religious school programs. The board is officially meeting tomorrow night to approve this, but I've been told that I am allowed to share that our policy is about to be updated so that anyone who is eligible to be vaccinated who is coming into the building must now show proof of vaccination or a medical exemption with a negative PCR test. This will include all parents and all caregivers who are stepping into the building, so please plan accordingly. For those 12 and up, students will have 8 weeks to become vaccinated after they are eligible if they want to continue in our in-person programs. Communication is key to making this school year work, and we will have robust communication with you in the event that there is a case in the building. If your child is directly exposed, you will hear from us personally and will be in consultation with our epidemiologist and the Department of Health. We prefer to overshare with you, so you will always be made aware of things, even if they don't directly impact your child. Likewise, we rely on you to tell us if your child has been exposed in any way and to keep your child home anytime they are sick. When in doubt, stay home. If a child does become ill while they're at religious school, we will need to send them home, and they'll sit in a staffed isolation room until an adult is able to pick them up. Emanu-El's nursery school was open last year and had a great year. We will follow all of their enhanced cleaning procedures that they did, including frequent cleaning of the bathrooms and other high-touch surfaces. As much as possible, we'll make use of our roof and outdoor spaces this year. Unfortunately, we don't have a ton of outdoor space, but we're going to use it to the best that we can. All of our classrooms have windows and they will be open whenever students are inside. The temple is a HEPA-based system with MERV 14 filtration, which allows for fresh air to enter into the mix. We're lucky to have on-site engineers in our building, and we also work with outside air consultants. Food will be limited at all of our programs. We won't be offering snack on Sunday mornings, but we will have it on Monday afternoons, as we know students need it after a long day of school. Our plan for the fall is to have snack on the roof before school starts, weather allowing us to do so, as we need to ensure 6-foot distancing when eating. Sadly, this also means that there won't be any holiday dinners in the fall, but we're hoping that that will change over the course of the year, and we'll certainly work to create some alternative programming that we can still do together that may not involve food, or that may involve us eating from our homes but sharing the meal together. When would we need to shut down and move to all online? Unlike last year, we're not looking at a specific number to see whether or not we need to shut down, but our epidemiologists will continue to look at everything on a more localized scale, including whether schools on the Upper East Side have high levels of cases and hospital capacities in the area. Our plan is to run in person unless we are really told that that cannot happen. At this point, we're not asking anyone to quarantine after domestic travel, and we'll evaluate international travel on a case-by-case basis. That being said, if you've traveled to somewhere that's currently a hot spot, we're going to ask you to use your best judgment and come online for the week after you return. We've already planned for the Monday after Thanksgiving to be an exclusively virtual day, as we know that many of our families travel that week. We have not yet determined the plan for after winter break, but we'll let you know soon. Our goal is to make the in-person program work, and we're committed to making that happen this year with your partnership. We know that these are unfortunately really scary times, and we hope that you and your family will still be able to find comfort in our school and our synagogue this year, and we will be here for you no matter what. There are a lot of details in the protocols that I just shared, and you'll be receiving everything by mail at the beginning of September, so you have the most up-to-date procedures. Anything can change with COVID, even over the next couple of weeks that we have left before school starts, but we all can't wait to welcome you back into the building. And with that, I am going to open it up to questions. So if anyone has questions that we have not addressed, also please send in your registration form if you have not yet. You can contact school@emanu-el.nyc.org, and Sam will happily help you get a registration form. If you have questions, please put them in the chat box, and Karen will let me know what they are so that I can address them.
Okay, thanks, Jackie. So far, we have a question about the teaching faculty and whether they will be the same for the in-person and the online programs.
Great. So our in-person and online teachers, some will be the same and some will not. Megan Sass, who many of you know and love, will hopefully be teaching in both programs for our 3rd graders in person and our 3rd and 4th graders online. But our 5th and 6th grade teachers will probably just be online teachers and separate in person.
Give everybody another minute to think. But
anyone's also welcome to just, unmute themselves and ask away also.
Hi, it's Erica. I just have a quick question about drop off. You're going to have details coming about, it's going to be some type of schedule for us to drop off. And I understand that. What about parents in the building?
So good question. So we will give you a lot more detail about what drop off and pickup actually looks like. Parents will most likely be able to come into the building, but they are definitely not going to be allowed up into the classrooms. And they won't be able to hang out in the building, as many of our parents, especially who live a little further away, they won't really be able to stay in our spaces at this point. That could change, but right now, there's not a place for parents to stay. Erica, did that answer your question?
Perfectly.
Okay.
Jackie, we have a question about our youngest learners, the pre-K to 2 cohort, and whether they'll all be together or split up.
So currently, pre-K through second grade will be together pre-K through first grade will be together in person, and second grade will be a separate class. So if we get a very large amount of kids, obviously we have to keep a certain amount of distancing within the classrooms, then we would separate out one of those grades. But right now, pre-K through first grade is not overwhelmingly large that we can't fit them all in one space. So pre-K through first grade will be together. Second grade will have its own class. We're still determining whether or not they will be able to come together for music as they've done in the past, or whether we'll have to do those as 2 separate groups.
I have a question. First of all, very thorough presentation. Thank you so much, Jackie. My question is, do you have any sense of the size of the classes? My son will be participating online to start, and I'm curious to know about how many students may be joining him.
So the online program is definitely smaller than the in-person program right now, but we haven't heard from everyone. So, we would like those responses as soon as possible from those we haven't heard from, and we'll follow up with you. Right now, our plan, based on the sizes that we've seen, is that online pre-K through second grade will be together, third and fourth grade will be together, and fifth and sixth grade will be together. They'll be pretty small group sizings. I would say no more than 10, and it may be more like 5 to 10. So that's where we are right now, but that could change. And there may be kids who drop in on a weekly basis that would also make there be more kids who are joining online, if they need to day switch or if they need to quarantine or something like that on a given week. But the regular group right now is pretty small for third and fourth grade online for Sunday, which I know is what you're specifically asking about. So I think it's about 5 kids.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions?
It's a good sign of how thorough you were, Jackie.
Great.
You answered all my questions too.
Thanks, all. So if no one else has any questions, then I certainly don't need to keep anyone on at 6:30 any longer. Of course, you can always reach out to any of us in the department with any questions, and we'll be happy to answer them. And as I said, we'll keep you updated as any of our procedures and protocols change. So thank you all.